Alright, well, when there's ominous music in the background and you're in space, what could go wrong?
Probably about everything.
This is our review of Gravity.
Uh, this is the first Alfonso Cuaron or Soran movie, probably butchering the pronunciation of it, that I've ever seen.
You've seen The Prisoner of Azkaban.
This is the second
Ah.
movie of his I have seen. My bad. And overall, I think he, wow. The direction of this movie is incredible. Uh, it opens with just this shot that has to last at least like 7 or 8 minutes
I think it was
without
longer
cutting.
than that.
It probably was
I think it was
longer
over
than that.
10.
It's
It's
really, and then the next shot after that's like another 10 minutes. It's like the first half hour of the movie, the screen probably cuts like 4 times max. It's but it's just so cool the way they shoot it in space. The camera's kind of always floating around and twisting around upside down, and it it adds to the feeling really well. Uh, I think you should definitely look for him to get the nomination for Best Director in the Oscars this year.
Yeah, I would have to say so as well. I have seen Children of Men, which happens to be one of my favorite movies. And for much of a similar reasons as I enjoyed this one, uh, the basically the director's style and the really long scenes without cuts are just they're great to watch. And with this movie, there's this added dimension of uh, nervous. Oh, no, it's not anxiety.
Yeah.
This is like the most nerve-wracking movie I've ever seen in my life.
It's like anything can go wrong at any time, and it like that has to be such a terrible position to be in, to just be floating around basically in space, and you can't propel yourself forward. You just kind of have to hope that you bump into something, but not too hard.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant experience.
I do not have any aspirations to be an astronaut after this. I mean, I wasn't planning on it, but now it's pretty much out of the question.
Yeah.
Which I think leads us to Sandra Bullock and George Clooney,
who are literally the
two
only
of the three characters.
Well, there's three characters in this movie.
Yeah, Paul Sharma, he plays a third astronaut. That's like
shout out to Sharif.
Yeah, he steals the show in the 30 seconds of screen time he has, but you don't see too much of him after that.
No.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock is the main character, I would say, and George Clooney is more of like
the mentor.
Yeah, kind of. He tries to keep her calm because he's not in quite such a bad situation as she is in the beginning, and I think he did the role almost perfectly.
Yeah.
Not much I can say about it. His character was very likable. He just very good job from Clooney. Sandra Bullock, I don't have any complaints either.
Right. I think they did what they had to do for their roles, and they didn't really have to ham it out too much, I don't think.
No. The end kind of got a little cheesy, but we'll get there in a second.
Right.
Yeah, the first, if you were to split the movie into 3 acts, I'd say the first 2 acts are just constantly nerve-wracking, kind of edge of your seat, heart pumping kind of action, and it's done perfectly by everyone involved. I think you really care about Sandra Bullock and George Clooney's characters just through simple conversations they're having with each other, which I think is great on the part of the writing. but then in the third act, I think the writing kind of tails off. Uh, I mean, they kind of didn't have as much to work with. No spoilers or anything, but I think that was the weakest part of the movie, for me at least.
Probably the ending, because there had to be. I think it was natural that the weakest part would be the ending, because there had to be some form of resolution to the problem. So I'm not too upset about anything really in this movie.
The ending, it becomes a lot of like conversations with yourself kind of deals, and so some of the dialogue at the end is just kind of cheesy and corny, and it kind of took me out of it. But other than that, I would say the last third of the movie's writing was the only problem I had with the movie. But I think aside from the direction, definitely the biggest plus is the CGI animation.
Absolutely.
It's incredible.
And this is like, I haven't seen a movie in 3D in forever, and I have to say, this one was pretty great.
I can't. Yeah, the last movie I saw in 3D was like a Spy Kids movie or something.
Nice.
And, I mean, that was pretty awesome.
Those are great movies.
Robert Rodriguez, I think, is the director of those. Yeah, I usually don't like to pay the extra for 3D. It usually like
I didn't even know it was
something,
3D until we went to see it, and I'm like, oh, thanks for stealing money from me. But it was worth it.
This is one of the very few times I would recommend it. So, anything else to add before we get to the last?
I
Is it worth the watch?
I really don't think so. I mean, we've been giving it a lot of praise, but we are pretty stingy with our worth the watches.
That's true. I don't know if it's going to make the cut.
Is it worth the watch?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Yes. It's worth the watch in theaters. In 3D. Pay the extra money for it. I'd say if you want to see this movie, don't wait for the red box or on demand, because you won't get the same experience. It's a cinematic experience for sure.
Absolutely. Do you have a rating?
Oh yeah. I will give this an 8.7 out of 10.
Yeah, this is a special movie. Probably, I'd have to say, the best movie I've seen this year. You have to see it in theaters. I like space movies in general, except Armageddon. But like this movie, I feel, is a lot like 2001 with the silence in space, and it totally gets to you.
I love the silence in space.
I love silence in space, and this movie takes basically a gimmicky idea and creates characters that you actually end up caring about. And I'd have to say it's all due to the great direction of Alfonso. He's a real great guy, class act. I'm going to have to give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's really good.
Thank you for watching.